I have not seen an app that's directly made for the financial independence community. Just period. I've seen a lot of apps that help the financial independence community, but one that's made based on that, and Grant and Logan paired up for some, what I think is pretty amazing innovation. There's no sponsorship here. I just love it when I see innovation in our little segment of the market. And the cool news is it's free, and we'll get into that as well. Well, I'm super excited about an app, and I'm also super excited to give us the deep dive on how it works, how it was founded, and really what innovations are coming. We have the founders of the Topia app. It's Logan Leckie and my friend Grant Sabatier with me. How are you, gentlemen?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Grant, I feel like we never talk. Actually, I feel like we just spoke last week in Columbus. We had fun together, and I was so happy you were able to MC my event, but you were filling me in on this cool app that you and Logan have. And I guess, you know what? I was gonna, Grant, talk to you for a second, but I really need to give this to Logan. Logan, you're the genius behind this app. Tell me where the idea came from and really how you got started building Topia.
Yeah, sure. So the idea, I mean, the story behind Topia is I discovered FI probably about four or 5 years ago now. Like many of the people in the FI community, got very, very passionate and ecstatic about my journey to FI. And the kind of raw ingredients which started forming Topia were a combination of my passion for FI and the kind of positive effect it could have on people's life, but also I started kind of seeing a lot of people really struggle to get started with FI, and I started seeing this great opportunity that maybe there was room and scope to build a tech solution which helped people get started, and the real eureka kind of moment was what seemed to happen time and time again is I would be talking to my friends, talking to my family, and I'd be kind of saying, hey guys, there's this thing called FI, you can unlock more freedom, you can like it's great, like read this, do this, like check out this, and be this kind of really kind of overly excited kind of puppy in the room with them. But then 9 times out of 10, when I followed up with my friends and family and said, right guys, have you read that? Have you done that? 9 times out of 10, it would be, oh Logan, I just didn't quite get this 4% thing, or I just saw this Excel spreadsheet and just thought, what on earth's going on? So just started seeing those people really close to me struggle to get started. So thought maybe a tech solution could be great in making FI more accessible to a lot more people.
I want to talk about that friction because you talk about like a 4% or some of the other rules of thumb that people have. Is that, Logan, where you think the friction really is for people getting in, that they can't wrap their head around some of the concepts? Is it the fact that, you talked about, have you read the book? Have you done the thing? People just don't want to read. They don't want to, it's kind of like that joke, I don't have time to go to meetings. Tell me about where you think the friction is that really the FI community is missing that the app hopefully solves.
So I think, especially when you talk about the younger generation, I think we're a generation who want things kind of on demand, super easy, really automated. So yeah, like you said, I think a big friction point is, just the amount of kind of content out there. And then
I don't know, but Logan, I'm 54 years old and I want things easy and right now too. So it's not just 20 somethings, but I think it goes a little bit older than that. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, that's why we're going to sign you straight up to Topia, Joe. So don't you worry. But yeah, it's that. And then on top of that, what I found again, the more I kind of spoke to people getting started on their FI journey, is those who did kind of deep dive into the FI content actually almost came out the other end even more confused, because there's so much great content out there, podcasts, blogs, Netflix shows on FI, which is great. But, I was speaking to one of our users the other day who said they discovered FI. They then spent the next kind of 6 weeks reading every single Mr. Money Mustache blog, and then came out the other end kind of even more kind of overwhelmed and confused about where to start. Should I be doing that? Should I be doing that? And just having something which is there to guide you and just provide the kind of, right, start here, right, do that, like this is the next step, and to make it much more easier and much more kind of frictionless to get started, I think is key in kind of unlocking that avenue of getting more people into the FI movement.
Man, I am right there with you because I feel like people have all kinds of information, right? And they still don't do anything. And that's the frustration I always have is it's not about what you know, it's about what you do. Grant, tell me about you getting involved with the project because I know that you and Logan had some pretty passionate conversations and you were fired up about this when I talked to you in Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, I really think it's game changing. When I started my, financial independence journey back in 2010, the only thing that was available really was Mint, and Mint is, still around. Obviously, it's sold to Inuit, but really the two primary apps that people who are pursuing financial independence or really are taking their finances, I would say, seriously, are Mint and Personal Capital. And I've been a longtime user of both of those apps, and one of the things I've always struggled with is there's always been a huge gap between the functionality that I wanted those apps to have in order to support my own journey. And so, pretty early on, I'd say 2015, shortly after reaching financial independence, I wanted to build an app, but the barrier to entry was so high at that point. So I could have gone out and spent, $100,000 building this, and, it would have been really challenging, and it was difficult to hook up bank accounts because, the technology just wasn't where it's at today. And so I've always wanted to build an app that supports people on their financial independence journey. Just my book, when you go to my book website, there's 12 different calculators I built, and literally thousands of people are using those every month. I'd love to just send them one place where they could do everything that they needed to do and automate as much as possible. And so I've been hungry for this app, now for well over a decade. And Logan reached out to me in the middle of the pandemic, gosh, now well over a year ago, with this idea. He'd made a little bit of traction, but I get a lot of pitches, and I just thought it was cool but didn't respond. And then he emailed me about probably 6 months to the day later, said, hey, I've got a beta up, we built this, we've got this challenge, we took this from your book, we used that, would love to get your eyes on it. So I'd seen that he'd made progress, so we ended up hopping on the phone. He showed me what they were up to, loved what they were up to, but like a lot of things in life, other things took precedence in my own life. So once again, hey Logan, sorry, good luck, to you. Fast forward another 6 months. Now it's been a year since that original outreach, and he says, hey Grant, don't know where you're at in life. We built the thing, it's out. People are using it. People are loving it. It's real. Logan's persistence, as well as more importantly, just the commitment to the mission, which, there's a lot of people in the finance world. They talk a big game, but now knowing Logan and having had these conversations and seeing, what he's built and been a part of it, I know that his heart's in the right place. I know that he really does want financial independence available to everyone. And this is really about meeting people where they are. So we've reduced the barrier. You can sign up, in a couple of minutes. You can link your bank accounts. It's going to just pull your data and show you right where you are on your FI journey, as well as make immediate recommendations for you to take that next step and accelerate your journey. There's a community behind this. I mean, it's just, it's a dream come true for someone like me, who this has been my life and my mission, just to see this next generation, Logan's in his mid-20s, just to see what people in their 20s are doing and taking this and standing, just like I stood on the shoulders of Pete and Vicky Robin, now Logan, just being able to build off of things that I've created and others, just for this next generation mindset. And so much of this is continuing to evolve, and it really is a game changer. And so once I got under the hood, decided to invest, become an advisor, and then recently joined on actually as co-founder, so I'm all in on this app, and just like anything else, if it adds value to your life, you're going to tell the people around you. And I'm so confident in this that just trying it out, we don't have a marketing budget. We don't have big investors. I think this is going to spread like absolute wildfire, because it just adds so much value to your life. It's so easy to use, and it's there's really nothing like it.
Well, and I obviously was excited to talk to you guys about it, and it's so interesting to me because there's so many apps out there, but I can't point to one specifically made for what most of the FI community is trying to do. Hey, let's dive into this. So, first of all, the app is available. Man, a lot of these apps come out, as you know, Logan, better than most. They're only available for the iPhone or only on Android. It looks like you're already on both.
Correct. We'll be launching on both iPhone and Android.
And then the interface looks super slick, but walk me through it. So if I decide to download either at the App Store or on Google Play, I download the App Store, or I download the app. Tell me what happens. Just walk me through this step by step.
There are a couple of different layers of Topia which you'll go through. The first port of call is really connecting in your account and starting to build your kind of roadmap to FI, so you can see exactly where you are, how long it's going to take you to get there, and you start just getting a kind of overview of where you are in your FI journey. So that's the kind of base layer. The next two layers are probably what I get most excited about and what we hear adds the most value to our users, because after we've got people set up and they know where they are on their journey, our mission is all about, and every feature we built was all about helping them to optimize and helping them to get to FI much quicker than if they weren't using Topia. So once you've set up, we've got things like the Tinker feature, where you can kind of create little scenarios within your finances. So you can say, what if I saved 3% more, or a couple of $100 more? How would that impact my FI journey? Or you could say to Topia, what if I set up a side hustle? What if I bought a buy to let? What if I did that? What if I did this? And all of this is to kind of spark ideas of different ways that you could start optimizing your finances and start reducing your time to FI. And because the wonders of compounding, what happens 9 times out of 10 is people really underestimate how small changes in your finances can have such massive impact on your time to FI. So it's contextualizing all of that around your time to FI. And then on top of that, we've got other cool features, which is all about, starting to change your money mindset. And, a great feature which I pulled from Grant's book, which I'm sure he can elaborate on, but is this idea that when you come onto Topia, we give you your Topia number, which is completely personalized to you. And what that is how much you need to invest today to buy you 1 day of freedom and to basically move your FI date 1 day closer. And again, because of compounding, the number's always much, much smaller than you think. And, we have users who their Topia number might be $3, and it just completely changes your day-to-day expenditure, because it's no longer, oh, that's just $3, that's just, a coffee. It's, wow, it's a whole day I'm about to take out and spend. And it's those sorts of little things which are super unique to FI, which we ingrain throughout the app, all on this mission to start, changing people's money mindset, to start helping them optimize and get to FI as soon as possible. So that's the kind of second layer, which is all about the optimization. And the final layer, which Grant touched on, is this community, which we're kind of filtering throughout Topia, the app, which is, if you have any questions or have any edge cases, you can jump straight into the community, which is kind of categorized based on where you are in your FI journey. And within the community, you can speak to other people, you can ask questions. We also have FI mentors, which are people who have already reached FI or are just, ultra passionate and knowledgeable, and they're kind of floating around the community there to answer any questions, help people out along the way. So it's just this kind of hub where we just want everything you need there, super simple, really accessible, and right at your fingertips.
I love the idea of surrounding yourself with smart people, but I also love this idea, Grant, you and I kind of touched on this when we were together last week, this idea that, at one point you read a book like Financial Freedom and you're really excited. And then 3 weeks later, that excitement kind of goes away. I feel like the Topia app kind of keeps that motivation going, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about behavioral change, right? Once you hook everything up, you can't figure out where you want to get without first knowing where you are. The first level of financial freedom that I've always talked about is just getting clarity on your situation. Just getting people to see everything in one place. What's your net worth? What do you owe? Where are you starting from? And then just picking a goal in the future. Even pulling it out of the sky, just as a reference point, and then starting to understand that everyday, money decisions are really just a trade-off. And, I figured out early in my own financial independence journey, because I'm such a nerd, that, every $100 I was saving, I was buying a week of freedom in the future. And so, I knew relatively early that time is so much more valuable than money. Obviously, I built that into my own work. And so we built that into the app. So this idea that, money, you can always go out and make more money, but you're not going to be able to get back your time, and so time is more valuable. And so realize that, whenever you're, spending money, you're not saving it, and you're trading this future freedom, for it. And it's this mindset shift. It's a simple habit shift. And then, like anything, we know money is very much like a game. And so when you figure out where you're at and you just start getting a few quick wins, you're hooked. I mean, how many of us have started tracking our net worth and made a few changes and started seeing it go up? Once we help the user make a couple of those changes, we want to be with them all the way to the end of their financial independence journey. So it's a very non-judgmental, supportive, open space where everyone's working together, as a community to create more freedom in their life, whatever that means for them. And as I mentioned, there's not only is there nothing like this, which is also really surprising. I actually thought that
I'm thinking that the whole time we're talking, Grant. The whole time we're talking, I'm thinking, why does this already exist?
Yeah, and I've had the pleasure, now of, just in my position, being able to meet, the CEOs and the founders of some of the biggest, fintech apps in the United States, and, talk with them, and, they've paid me for consulting time, and, I would have loved if, someone else had picked up this baton early on. I was talking about it, from the beginning, but for some reason, I think it's just, when you have an app that's, funded by big investors, there's an expected sort of endpoint and rate of return. And so a lot of the apps, they become these super apps, they have to monetize in a way that, at the end of the day, I think is a big trade-off for them. And so most of the big apps, because they have such big investors, have to make choices that don't allow them to play the long game like we're building and we're playing. And, the cool thing about this now, it's grassroots, right? It's the FIRE movement is a movement. It's always spread from person to person. And as much as like big finance has tried to make it their own and co-opt it and use it in their own marketing, people see through that. And that's the beautiful thing about this community is that, it really is a growing group and a growing community. And I think the fact that, we don't have huge investors, we're not coming out with big money, we're just a small team, ragtag team, launching this thing and getting it out there. I think that gives it a higher chance of success. And it was going to happen sooner or later, and I'm happy to be, part of it, and glad that we were able to get it to market when we did. And I certainly we have early mover advantage, and at the end of the day, the market determines the quality, right? And it'll spread and it'll grow, and people get value from it, or it won't. But I'm confident that it is so valuable and it's so life changing that people are going to love it.
I love the idea of community because I think that as humans, we're natural collaborators, and I think we build off each other's success. We are a product of who we're around, but I got to tell you, that's not my favorite part of Topia. I really, Logan, love the tinkering. I just think the more that I tinker with these if-then scenarios, the more my brain, when I go out on a hike or a walk or whatever, I continually think about all the possibilities and the things that I could do. And for me, personally, that's what lights my fire is going, okay, if I make this little change, if I make that little change, what can I do? And Grant, to your point, the fact that these little changes can make such big changes is just so flippin' exciting. And if you get discouraged, just fire up the app. And I think you're not going to be discouraged 10 minutes later, right? Two more questions. Question number one is that everybody with any app worries about security. I just have to ask you about security. I'm fairly certain I know what your answer here is going to be, but I want you to say it for the record and for all the stackers out there. If I feed my accounts into the Topia app, Logan, how do you keep my information safe?
Yeah, so to start with, we partner with Plaid or Plaid, depending on how you pronounce it, which is one of the biggest open banking providers kind of in the world internationally. So they know exactly what they're doing from a security standpoint and everything else. And then in terms of what we do internally, I mean, I share the exact same concerns which you do, which meant we put in place everything we possibly could to make sure Topia is as tight as it can be from a security standpoint. So we regularly carry out kind of penetration testing. All the data is encrypted. We use kind of military grade encryption. Everything we could have possibly done, we've done because because yeah, I mean, security is everything when it comes to something as important as your money, time, and freedom.
Yeah, we don't store any of your bank account information, any of your login, any of that. That hooks up through Plaid, and Plaid is push only. And so what that means is, they're able, the data gets pulled into Topia, but Topia is not able to make any changes, to your bank account in any way. We're just able to pull the data and analyze it and make recommendations, and then, making the changes is something that you do.
And people out there listening, banks use Plaid, so you're using bank
Yes.
level security when you use Plaid. The second question is, I have heard zero opportunities for you guys to make money on this thing as I'm going through all these cool features. For you guys to stay in business, there has to be a way for you to make money. Is there a subscription to Topia? Is it something where you monetize later? Tell me about how you're going to make money doing this.
Look, to be kind of completely transparent, it was something which we had kind of lots of debates about, was very much something we were thinking about. And fundamentally, if we kind of bring it back to what our mission is, which is to help people reach FI, it just never felt quite right, trying to do what a lot of the other big fintechs out there, which is constantly have their kind of eyes looking for ways that they can monetize, looking at ways they can kind of tap into the user base and start making money from them. So it was something we kind of brainstormed a lot, debated a lot, and where we settled is building in this concept called the Topia patrons, which is basically what we say to users is, look, we want to help you reach FI, we want to build a great product. If you want us to carry on working on this and carry on bringing out great features which help you reach FI, then you can opt in to a subscription and opt in to support us. And what we basically worked out is, how much does it cost us per user for them to hook their accounts in, and what's that cost for us? And then we let our users know that, so they know how much they need to support us if they want us to cover their costs. And if they support more than that, then it's helping us kind of fuel our roadmap. We've got lots of really, really exciting things we want to be working on over the next 12, 24 months. So that's what we settled on in terms of the revenue model. I don't know whether Grant wants to add something to that.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, we've been all about full transparency. And to use a Plaid, it cost us about $3 a month per user of our own money just to have someone hooked up to Plaid. There's certain edge cases where if someone comes on every day and it's just like refreshing their bank accounts a million times, that costs us a lot of money.
Please
but
don't,
on average,
please don't do that. Right.
Yeah, exactly. On average, it's going to be about $3 per user per month, just to pay for that. And so we're very transparent about that in the app. We say, hey, it costs $3. Do you want to give $3? You can give $0. Do you want to give $10? And actually, if you give, say, at like the $10 a month level, we're going to show you what that money is going to go towards. And so one of the things that's cool about this is there's already so many features and so much value built into this app. I mean, it's unlike anything that exists, but our roadmap is also even cooler. And that's the fun thing, is like we haven't even gotten to all of the features that we want to implement over the next 6 months. And this is one of the things where, Logan is just a master engager with users. And it's one of these cool things because the users themselves are like, well, what if you had this, or what if you had that, or can you try this, or this would add a lot of value. And these are people who are actively on the journey. And so these are all features that, we're taking into account and putting into our, dev map and roadmap to actually get them built. And so that's that. Yeah, we haven't thought beyond that, beyond keeping the lights on. There have been a fair amount of venture capital interest, and I commend Logan for saying no to one of the largest VC companies in the United States who made a very significant offer to invest in Topia, and Logan decided against it because he wanted, and we wanted, the freedom to be able to make some of these choices without saying, hey, we need to be $1 billion company and go public, just for an investor to get their money back. And so that's given us a lot of freedom. And remember, at the end of the day, Joe, we talked a lot about, building your business around your life, not your life around your business. And we really live by that, and we don't want to be chained to investors, just like we would say a corporate job. And so this ethos runs deep. We work hard. We have a lot of fun doing this. We're really enjoying it. It's a journey like anything else, and we want everyone to be a part of it. And so if you're interested in a feature, just hit us up. It's easy to get in touch with us. Let us know what's up, and we want your help as well. We're really excited, just the people who've come out of the woodwork already, just making recommendations, and even the offers to help. The FI community is really creative. There's a lot of software engineers in the FI community, people stepping up, wanting to help us build this. And that's the most amazing thing is all, because it really is, a community effort so far, and we're just getting started.
I just can't, though, get by the fact that Logan gets this bajillion-dollar investment offer and turns it down, so he's nuts. Like,
I think I influenced that. I think I walked through the trade-offs. Of there's a really amazing book. I just want to give a shout out to Rand Fiskin, who is the founder, the creator of Moz. He wrote a amazing book called Lost and Founder, about him taking on venture capital money early on, and it really just wrecked his life in a lot of ways. And the book is just absolutely incredible. And that was one of the first things, that I passed on to Logan, and just said, hey man, this is a trade-off. And for me, it's great because I'm already FI, times 5, in my own life. And so I can make certain choices, and just, Logan, is like a little brother to me, where I can say, hey man, here are the trade-offs, here are the choices, here's what I would do, but ultimately it's up to you. Now I have a bit more of an equity position in the app, so I have a little bit more sway. But it's at the end of the day, I really trust Logan and this partnership, and I think it was the right decision to give us the freedom to do this the way that we want to.
We're so kind of passionate and such big believers in the mission, and I think the scariest prospect for any founder, entrepreneur, or kind of anything in between is I guess losing control. And having take something which you care so deeply about, and almost kind of molding and pushing you and the business into something which it isn't. I think it was a great decision to kind of keep our autonomy and give us the ability to kind of mold Topia into what it is today.
Well, and I love the fact that it is free for people that are beginning their journey, because Logan, to your point at the beginning of this interview, it is hard to get started. Getting on the path, I think, is the big piece of friction you got to get over, because it's such a wonderful journey once you get on the path. But I'll also say this, as a guy who's been around for 10 years, and I hope our stackers hear this, that the biggest shame is the number of kick-ass apps I've seen that have gone extinct because people didn't support them. So just because it's free doesn't mean that you shouldn't support the app. Support the stuff that you love to keep it around, because people can't keep doing it if they don't. If there's not enough revenue coming in to keep it moving. It's called the Topia app. It's available both on Google Play and on the App Store. Logan, Grant, so excited to have you guys on and to chat with you. Congratulations on the journey so far. And as things change with the app and you're on to, the next set of features, which I think we'll just leave for next time, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah, we'd love to come back. Thanks for the support, Joe. Just Topia, TOPIA-app.com. You can get all the download links there. Just search for it in the App Store, Google Play, and hit us up. Yeah, if there's something that we missed or you want us to add, feel free to reach out to us, because we're all about this. We're deep in the trenches, and we're excited to hear what you think.
Yeah, thanks so much, Joe, for having us.